Welcome students. Today we are here to discuss the topic development and causes of cancer, tumor viruses, oncogenes, tumor suppressor genes, cancer treatment with a molecular approach. Objectives of our today's lecture are development and causes of cancer, its diagnosis, oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes, tumor viruses, cancer treatment. Introducing with the cancer what cancer is. Cancer is a group of disease involving abnormal cell growth with the potential to invade or spread to other parts of the body. Not all tumors are cancerous. Benign tumors do not spread to other parts of the body. Cancer is of different types depending upon the cell of origin. There are over 100 different known cancers that affect humans. At the cellular level, the development of cancer is viewed as a multi-step process involving mutation and selection for cells with progressively increasing capacity for proliferation, survival, invasion, and metastasis. If we talk about cancer development, at the cellular level, the development of cancer is viewed as a multi-step process. It can take a long time for cancer to develop because several steps and several genetic mutations are usually required. Usually, many years pass between exposure to cancer-causing agent or event and cancer actually developing. This time frame is called the latency period or lag time. The chance of cancer developing increases as a person gets older because there has been more time for exposures and mutations to build up. Let us know the main steps which are involved in cancer development. First is initiation. Many cancers are caused by gene mutations. Other cancers may be caused by additional mechanisms such as translocations or when a specific gene's function is changed because of changes to that gene's messages. Then is promotion. Agents such as hormones or some drugs cause further damage and are called promoters. Unlike carcinogens, promoters do not cause cancer by themselves but allow a cell that has undergone initiation to become cancerous. Some carcinogens such as exposure to large doses of radiation are powerful enough to cause cancer without the help of promoters. Then is progression. Transformation in a normal cell causes it to behave, grow and function quite differently and turn into a cancer cell. The cell's growth instructions get mixed up. This causes the cell to go on growing and reproducing itself. The time it takes a cell to double in number is called the doubling time. A fast growing cancer cell may double over 1 to 4 weeks, a slower growing one over 2 to 6 months. The doubling time varies with the type of cancer cell and how aggressive it is. In adults, there is usually a long latency period after initiation during which promotion and progression are occurring, which means it takes a long time before a cell becomes cancerous. In children, this latency period is much shorter. Finally is metastasis. As cancer cells divide, they can invade surrounding tissue. They can also break away from the original tumor and enter the bloodstream or lymphatic system. If the cancer cells escape detection by the immune system, they can be carried by the blood and lymph to different parts of the body. This is how cancer can metastasize. Childhood cancers tend to metastasize earlier than adult cancers. About 80% of childhood cancers have metastasized when they are diagnosed. Now coming to causes of cancer. Risk factors are predisposition behaviors, exposures or environmental conditions that increase the probability of obtaining a given disease. A number of different types of exogenous, that's environmental factors, are known causes of cancer. These include some aspects of food and nutrition that are established as carcinogenic. Known causes of cancer include tobacco smoking and its use, infectious agents, medication, radiation, and industrial chemicals. Carcinogenic agents in food and drink are also the reasons. Second is individual causes of cancer that often interact with one another to increase or decrease risk, or are modifiers or precursors of others, and some act together to produce a multiplicative effect. Some of the known potent causes of cancer are gene alterations, oxidative stress, inflammation, hormones, tobacco use, and many others. Now coming to the diagnosis. Diagnosis of cancer includes use of markers. Many cancers can be detected by the excess production of proteins that are normally produced by a particular cell type called a cancer marker. For example, prostate cancer can be diagnosed by the presence of high levels of a prostate-specific protein in the blood. Another is biopsy. A biopsy is the surgical removal of some cells, tissue, or fluid used to determine whether they are cancerous or not. When viewed under a microscope, benign tumors consist of orderly growth of cells that resemble the cells of the tissue from which they are taken. Malignant cells do not resemble other cells found in the same tissue. They are dividing so rapidly that they do not have time to produce all the proteins necessary to build normal cells. This leads to the disorderly appearance seen under a microscope. A needle biopsy is usually performed if the cancer is located on or close to the surface of the body. When a cancer is diagnosed, surgery is often performed to remove as much as possible without damaging neighboring organs and tissues. Now let us have concept of oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes. Genes that are involved in promoting cell division are called proto-oncogenes. Those that help inhibit cell division are called tumor suppressors. It has now become apparent that most, if not all, oncogenes are derived from cellular genes that encode various growth controlling proteins. In addition, the proteins encoded by a particular oncogene and its corresponding proto-oncogene appear to have very similar functions. Oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes have been shown to play an important role in this process by regulating either cellular proliferation or cell death. Cancer-associated genes can be divided into three categories that reflect their different activities. One category of proto-oncogenes and their oncogenic counterparts encodes proteins that induce cellular proliferation. A second category of cancer-associated genes called tumor suppressor genes or anti-oncogenes encodes proteins that inhibit excessive cell proliferation. A third category of cancer-associated genes regulates programmed cell death. These genes encode proteins that either block or induce apoptosis. Some malignantly transformed cells contain multiple copies of cellular oncogenes, resulting in increased production of oncogene products. Such amplification of cellular oncogenes has been observed in cells from various types of human cancers. In addition, some cancer cells exhibit chromosomal translocations, usually the movement of a proto-oncogene from one chromosomal site to another. Mutation in proto-oncogenes also has been associated with cellular transformation, and it may be a major mechanism by which chemical carcinogens of X irradiation convert a proto-oncogene into a cancer-inducing oncogenes. Now let us have a view on tumor viruses. Viruses cannot reproduce by themselves and must commandeer a host cell's machinery to synthesize viral proteins, and in some cases to replicate the viral genome. RNA viruses, which usually replicate in the host cell cytoplasm, have an RNA genome. These viruses are known as retroviruses because their RNA genome acts as a template for formation of a DNA molecule. Some retroviruses contain cancer-causing genes, and cells infected by such retroviruses are oncogenically transformed into tumor cells. Among the known human retroviruses are human T-cell lymphotropic virus, also known as HTLV, which causes a form of leukemia, and human immunodeficiency virus, which is known as HIV, which causes acquired immune deficiency syndrome, that is AIDS. Now let us know about cancer treatment. Most common treatment is surgery. Surgery is cutting away tissue from the body. Surgery is one of the main treatments for cancer. Surgery is a local treatment. It only treats the part of the body operated on. So, it may cure cancer that is completely contained in one area and has not spread. Usually, the earlier a cancer is found, the easier it is to remove. Surgeon removes the tumor and some normal tissues from around the cancer, known as a clear margin. Some people have treatment before surgery to help shrink a cancer and make it easier to remove. This is called neoadjuvant treatment. For some cancers, surgery is the only treatment needed. Another treatment is radiation therapy. It uses high energy particles to injure or destroy cells by damaging their DNA, making it impossible for those cells to continue to grow and divide. Another is hormone therapy. Some cancers use hormones to grow. Hormone therapy for cancer is the use of medicines to block the effects of hormones. It does not work for all types of cancers. Doctors use hormone therapy for people with cancers that are hormone sensitive or hormone dependent. Cancers that can be hormone sensitive include breast cancer, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, womb cancer, also called as uterine or endometrial cancer, and kidney cancer. Besides these, other method for cancer treatment includes targeted therapy. The main categories of targeted therapy are currently small molecules, monoclonal antibodies, and gene therapies. So, cancer is a group of disease involving abnormal cell growth with the potential to invade or spread to other parts of body. Factors include certain infections, exposure to ionizing radiations and environmental pollutants, diet, habits such as smoking, and genetic mutations. Many treatment options for cancer exist, with the primary ones including surgery, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, hormonal therapy, targeted therapy, and palliative therapy. Students, with this we conclude our today's lecture. Hope you have enjoyed and understood it well. Thank you.